In this video, we will continue solving additional examples for doubly reinforced beam. So in our last example, we are given a design problem where the dimensions and the moment are given, and then we are tasked to determine the area of rebar AS and AS prime. Now, here in further example, we will be solving an investigation problem wherein, as we know, in investigation, the the section and the area of the bar is already given, and then we will determine the maximum moments. In practical sense, we determine the moment capacity and then compare it to actual load. Okay. So that's why we are tasked to investigate. Now, nangyayari ito, as what I said in the previous video, yung mga structures na constructed already, and then maybe the function of the building will uh, magbago yung function ng building. Let's say from residential, gawin nilang restaurants, ganun, or gawing hotel, ganun. So, we are tasked to investigate if kung magbago ba yung loadings, maximum uh, loads on moments and even shares na ma-encounter ng section kung safe ba doon sa bagong function ng building. And then may mga cases rin na kung masira yung building, and then, we are tasked to investigate given the section and then compare to the design load kung safe ba siya or adequate. Okay? So here in this example, we are given in doubly reinforced most of the time, the section is given. So we have B is 350 mm here. Moment. And we have B is 350 mm and D is 600 mm. See here in the figure. I mean, the not the figure, but we have 350 by 600. Itong D is not the total height or depth of the beam. Okay, this is just the effective depth for analysis 600. And Fy is 345 and Fc prime is 21 megapascal. And then we have the area of bar, the area of steel from the tension side, we have 728 mm diameter bar. And then for the compression steel, we have 228 mm bar. So we are tasked to determine the maximum, not the maximum, but the moment capacity of the section. So we'll start. But before we start, since the given of the area are given the number of bar, let's solve first in terms of area of bar. So let's start with AS. Ang AS natin is 728 mm. So the area pi times 28 squared over 4. Okay, we have 7 of it. So this one is 17,241.06 mm squared. Okay, then the AS prime, para hindi na tayo mag-solve mamaya. Solve na natin yung area. 2 times pi times 28 squared over 4. That's basically pi d squared over 4. So we have two of it, 1,231.504 mm squared. So the very first step that we have to do is to assume. Okay, we'll assume, although it's not good to always assume, but here we are forced to assume. So assuming that all steel yields. Okay, so we'll assume that all steel yields. So kung mag-yield yung dalawa, that means ang AS2 natin is equal to AS prime. Okay? Di ba meron tayong dalawang steel na tension sa baba, AS1 at saka AS2. So if mag-yield yung dalawang steel, then that means yung AS2, kung ano yung AS prime dun sa taas, ganun din yung nagkumakalaban doon sa na area ng steel sa tension side, which is our AS2. So AS2 is equal to AS1. Now we have to solve for AS1, di ba meron tayong AS, formula na AS is equal to AS1 plus AS2. Okay? So we will solve AS1. This is AS minus AS2. Okay. Bakit ko i-solve yung AS1? Yung AS1 kasi yun yung first couple. Right? Yung first couple ng steel at saka concrete. Yun yung first couple natin. Ang second couple is steel versus steel. So we need to solve AS1. This is AS minus AS2. We have 17241.06 minus AS2, which is, sabi dito sa equation, AS2 is equal to AS prime. So this one is minus 1231 point, sorry, 504. So we will have AS1 is 3078 mm squared. Okay, it's been a practice. I noticed sa book, it's been a practice na always three decimal places kahit millimeters. So I guess we should follow also that one. So when we solve example and especially during exams, we will use three decimal places para pare-pareho tayo ng sagot. Okay. So we have our AS1. So let's consider the first equation. Ang first equation is dapat ang compression ng concrete should be equal sa tension ng steel, T1. Okay? Due to AS1 itong T1. So ang compression ng concrete, we know the equation. 0.85 of FC prime. Sorry. AB. Right? That's babalik-balik na yan na equation. Equal to AS1 FY. Right? So, yun yung compression. Couple siya. So, kung couple, dapat the same value but opposite direction. So, that's why we say CC is equal to T1. Now, we have the value. Ang point natin dito na is hanapin yung A. We will solve the A. Okay, so we have 0.85 of FC prime. We have our FC prime of 21 megapascal times A. Ito yung unknown. Ang B natin is we have 350. So this is equal to IS1 is 3078.761 times FY. So we'll assume na ang FY is mag-yield. Okay, so we have 345. Then we'll solve the A. A here is 170.016 mm. Now, once we solve the A, we can solve the C, right? We have the equation A is equal to beta 1 C, right? Where beta 1, ang beta 1 natin dito, since our FC prime is 21 megapascal, less than 28, then automatically this is 0.85. So this is A over beta 1. This is 170.016 over 0.85. So we have C of 200.019 millimeter. Okay. Now, from here, we need to check our assumption. Kasi nag-assume tayo. Okay? So whatever your assumption, you always have to check. All right. So check assumption. Let's check assumption. So we assume na yung Fs is equal to Fy. Nag-yield siya. But we'll check that with the equation. Ano yung formula? 600 minus D, 600 times D minus C over C. That is sa tension. Sa tension still yan, Fs. So, we have 600 times D. Ang D natin is 600. 600 pa rin, right? Yeah, this is 600. So, this is sorry, 600 minus C, yung na-compute natin na C, 200.019 over 200.019. So, ang Fs is equal to 1,199.829 megapascal. Now, we need to compare that to Fy. Ano yung Fy natin? Ang Fy natin is only 345, while this one is 1,199.829. Okay? So that means this is greater than Fy. So that means tension still yields. Right? Now, let's see. So, correct yung assumption natin. Ang assumption natin is all still yield. So, tension. I-check naman natin yung compression steel. The compression steel of Fs prime, ang formula is 600 times, careful with this side, okay ba na siya, C minus D prime over C. Yung isa is 600 times D minus C over C, where ang Fs prime is 600 times C minus D prime over C. So this is 600 times C, 200.019 minus D of 600 over 200.019. This is equal to, so I'll continue here. Fs prime now is equal to 420.017. So take note, this is, sorry, megapascal. So this is still greater than Fy. Okay? Meaning the compression ang compression state, sorry. Di, this should be, lagyan natin violet. Ang compression steel, nag-yields rin. Okay? Therefore, so, dalawang assumption natin is correct. Okay? Minsan lang yan maging correct yung mga assumptions. So, Fs is equal to Fs prime equal to Fy, which is equal to 345 megapascal. So, ang equation natin sa pag-solve natin mamaya ng VMN, ang value ng Fs at saka Fs prime is equal to Fy, which is 345 megapascal. Okay? Now, let's go back to Fs. Ano yung value ng Fs natin? If you notice, ang value ng Fs is 1199. Okay? So, 1,199. Ano nga yun? Sa singly reinforced, if Fs is greater than 1,000 megapascal, this is tension control. Okay? Where pag sinabi natin tension control, phi is equal to 0.9. Okay? So sa pag-solve natin ng VMN, solve natin ng VMN, we will have uh, yung moment, ang moment capacity is yung moment ng capacity ng first couple, concrete and steel, plus the moment capacity ng second couple, which is steel versus steel. So we have phi of CC. Ano yun? Pwede natin gamitin yung concrete. CC times D minus A over 2. Okay? That's the first couple. Second couple is phi times CS times D minus D prime. Yan yung moment arm. D minus D prime. So, we can have, ano yung CC? Phi times 0.85 of FC prime AB times D minus A over 2 plus P times, ang CS natin is compression ng steel is AS prime FS prime. Moment arm D minus D prime. So, we have ang phi natin is 0.9 times 0.85 FC prime of 21 megapascal. Okay. And A natin na solve, we have a 170.016. And our B natin is 350. Okay. And then times the moment arm of D minus, so D is 600 minus A over 2, 170.016 over 2. Dito ko na lang ilagay sa baba ang next equation, which is 0.9. Ano yung AS prime? Na-solve na natin yung AS prime, 1231.504 times Fs prime. Ano nga yung Fs prime? Fs prime is equal to dito 345. Okay, times moment arm of D minus D prime, or this is 600. Ano yung D prime natin is 60. Okay, and then So this is PMN. Then we'll calculate that one. We get the value of VMN is equal to 698.797 in terms of kilonewton meter. Okay? So, ang bilis ng calculation kung ang assumption natin is correct. So, sir, what if our assumption is wrong? Then, kung wrong, mag-assume naman tayo ng still does not yield. Okay? And then, check again. So, ngayon, yun nga, iterative yung calculation ng doubly reinforced. So, we need to assume and then check again. And then, dalawang assumption yan eh. The compression still and then the tension still. So, the first assumption is dalawa sila mag-yield. Second assumption, kung ang compression still nag-yield, ang tension hindi. Third assumption is kung ang tension still nag-yield, ang compression still hindi nag-yield. Kaya tatlo yung example na isosolve natin. Alright, so this is the answer. So let's proceed to next example. Okay, in our next example, given P is 300 by 350. You see, tingnan nyo, in practical sense, itong 300 by 350, kung I will draw this one. Siguro mga ganyan. Okay? This is 300 by 350 yung D lang. Okay? So, napaka-awkward siya na section ng beam. Kasi nga, when we are designing beam, as much as possible, rectangular siya na deep rectangular. Meaning, if I will draw here, erase ko lang mamaya. If this is our B and this is our H should be equal to 2, 2B, 2, 3B. Okay? So our H should be at least twice of B, to thrice of B. Okay? So, ganun siya kasi kung ang rectangular natin nakatayo, remember, ang strength ng moment is nakadepende sa moment of inertia, right? Remember, ang moment of inertia natin is I is equal to BH cube over 12, right? So, if you see here, ang H, kung malaki yung H compare sa B, mas malaki yung I, right? So, in this example, tingnan nyo, this is 300 by 350. So, parang magkalapit lang yung ratio ng base at saka D. Okay, which is not efficient. So in that case, you need more, you expect na marami kang reinforcement na ilalagay. And then in this case, you expect na um, yung analysis natin is doubly reinforced. Okay? So sabi mo, sir, why not na palaliman natin yung beam? Now, I told you in the first video na may mga constraint. Sometimes yung architect is mag-limit lang ng depth ng beam. Okay? Kasi nga murag nagmapakugma kung lalong pugay mong beam, possible mapakog ng tao dito. So that's ma-fail na ka sa serviceability or sa function sa imong structure kung lalom na kay imong beam. So mag-limit lang ang architect nga, o dapat ang imong beam, mao lang ni ang pinakababa niya nga elevation. So wala kay choice, dili mabaw imong beam. So dito na lang ka magbawi sa reinforcement. Okay? Although not practical kay mas mahal man ang reinforcement kaysa sa concrete. But anyway, wala tayong choice kung ano nga case. So in that case, kung um, kinahanglan og analysis na doubly reinforced, then atong i-analyze as doubly reinforced. Okay? So, um, wag nang makipag-argue sa architect o wag nang awayin yung architect. Yan. Or else wala ka ring trabaho as a structural engineer. Okay? So, gawan mo na lang ng paraan. So, here, i-erase ko muna ha. So, we have D is 300 and D is 350. D prime, ang D prime natin is 60. Okay. D prime natin is 60. We have area ng reinforcement at the bottom is apat na 28 mm. AS prime is dalawang 28 mm. And then we have FY 345. FC prime is 30 megapascal. So remember, ang 30 greater than 28. So iba naman yung value ng beta 1 natin. Maybe we'll compute first the beta 1. Ano yung beta 1? 0.85 minus 0.05 over 7 times 30 minus 28. Calculating this one, this is 0.836. Okay? Solve na lang natin yan para hindi na natin balikan mamaya. And also the AS, ang AS natin is apat na 28 mm. So this is 4 times pi times 28, sorry, 28 squared over 4. Then we have 17241.06. Ang AS prime natin is 2 times pi times 28 squared over 4 equal to 1231.504 mm squared. Sa taas rin mm squared. Okay, so first step is assume. Yan, assuming na naman. Assume that all steel yields. What does it mean? In equation form, this is Fs is equal to Fs prime equal to Fy. Okay? So kung dalawang steel nag-yield, that means ang As prime natin is equal to As2. Okay? Actually, ito na equation, galing ito sa ano, yung As prime Fy, sorry, Fs prime is equal to As2 Fs2. Sorry, Fs. Yan. So, since pareho sila, ang Fs prime is equal to Fs, that means As prime is equal to As2. Kaya ito na assumption natin. Okay? So, let's start with add page. Okay. Ano yung una? Sa first couple, let's start with the first couple. CC is equal to T1, 0.85. FC prime AB, yan, equal to AS1 FY. So, ano yung value? 0.85. Pag FC prime, 30. unknown yung A, 300 equal to AS prime, 1231.504 times FY. Ang FY natin nag-yield siya, so this is 345. So, we have A is 55.538 mm. Then from there, we can solve C. A is equal to, so I mean, C is equal to A over beta 1. So, good thing we solved already beta 1. So, we can say by 5.538 over our beta 1 is 0.836. 836. Then this is equal to 66.433 mm. Take note ha, ang C should always be greater than A. Pag greater yung A mo kaysa sa C, that means may mali sa calculation. Okay? So we have C, so we can check assumption. Let's write check assumption. So ano yan sa FS? Hanggang sa memorize natin, C times D minus C over C. So we have 600 times D, which is 350, minus C, 66.433 over 66.433. Okay? So ang FS natin is equal to 2561.08 megapascal. Meaning, this is greater than Fy. So what does it mean? Ang tension still yields. Okay? So kung ang tension still yields, meaning yung Fs natin is equal to Fy. So tama yung assumption natin. How about Fs prime? Fs prime, this is 600 times C minus D prime over C. So we have 600 times 66.433 minus 60 over 66.433. Okay, this is equal to 58. Yan, 58.101 megapascal. Ang Fy natin, ang Fy natin is 345. Ito 58 lang. Okay? So, does it mean this is less than Fy? That means compression steel, ang compression steel natin, yung sa taas na steel, does not yield. So, kung does not yield, assumptions are not correct. So, kung ang assumptions are not correct, wala, pinaasa ka lang. So, assumption is not correct, then we need to assume again. Okay? So, ano yun? Ang ang lumabas is ang compression steel does not yield, pero ang tension steel nag-yield. So, we will assume again, assume that tension steel yields, okay, while and ang compression steel does not yield. Okay? So, From the equation, T is equal to CC plus CS. Okay. Compression steel, compression of concrete plus CS. Ang total tension. Ang total tension sa baba kasi nag-yield yung steel sa baba, di ba? Steel sa baba, total steel sa baba nag-yield. Ang kalaban niya is yung compression ng concrete at saka compression ng steel. But ang compression ng steel, take note, hindi na ito AS prime FY. Kasi nga ang steel, ang assumption natin, ang compression steel does not yield. Okay? So, let's start here. Ang AS, ang T natin is, ano yung formula ng T? Tension. That is AS FS. Sin sa baba. Equal to compression ng concrete, which is 0.85 FC prime AB. Okay? Plus yung, sorry, AS prime FS prime. Ito yung compression ng steel. So, meron tayong AS, total AS. Right? Meron tayong total AS. Yeah, this one, na-compute natin, 17241.06. We have 17241.06. Sorry, like that. Times ang FS, ang assumption natin sa baba, nag-yield. So, ang FS natin dito is 345 equal to 0.85. And then, ang FC prime natin is 30. Now, ngayon, ang A natin is, we will not solve for A here. Kasi itong FS prime is in terms of C. So, i-change natin yung A to C. We know na ang A is equal to beta 1C, right? So, we will write here 0.85 FC prime 30. Ang A is beta 1. Yun na yung beta 1 natin, 0.836 times C. Okay? Because we will be solving for C here. 0.836 C times B of 300. Then plus natin AS prime, FS prime. Ano yung nangyari? Ang AS prime, dito ko na ilagay sa baba siguro. Ito na sa baba. Plus AS prime natin, merong 1231.504 times FS prime. Ang FS prime natin is not equal to 345, not FY. Kasi nga hindi siya nag-yield. But we have the formula, right? Yung FS prime is equal to 600 times C minus D prime over C. Okay? So we can write here 600 times C minus D prime of 60 over C. Yan. Okay? So the only unknown here is C. Itong C. Yan. So we can solve for C using your calculator. We can compute C is equal to 92.375. I'm not sure kung allowed po ba ngayon yung mga shift solve na calculator. Okay, but you have to find way how to solve C here. Okay, so let's check. Check na natin yung assumption natin. Kung tama ba yung assumption. Yung assumption natin that the compression steel does not yield and the tension yield. So, since tension yield, i-check natin ang tension kung nag-yield ba siya. 600 times D minus C over C. So, this is 600 times D 350 minus C. Ang C, ito yung C na nakuha natin na bagong C na naman. 92.375 over 92.375. This is equal to 1673.342. Okay? So Fs is greater than Fy. Okay? That means tension still yields. Correct yung assumption natin. About the second one, Fs prime. So, ang formula ng Fs prime is 600 times C minus D prime over C. So, we have 600 times C 92.375 minus D prime of 60 over 92.375. This is equal to 210.284. Okay? So Fs prime is less than Fy. So that means the compression still does not yield. Okay? Ito yung assumption natin. Compression still does not yield, tension still yields. So that means assumption, sorry, assumption are correct. Okay? So if the assumption is correct, then we can proceed to the calculation of phi mn. Ano yan? Phi of Cc times D minus A over 2 plus phi of Cs times D minus D prime. This is equal to 0.85. Ang phi natin. Wait. Ano pala yung phi? Ang phi. Let's check at the Fs. Ang Fs is greater than 1,000. See here? Ang Fs greater than 1,000. So this is tension still. Tension control. So kung tension control, ang phi natin is equal to, kasi nga Fs is greater than 1,000. So ang phi natin is equal to 0.9. Okay? So in our calculation here, this is 0.9. Isulat muna natin ang CC. This is phi times 0.85 FC prime AB times D minus A over 2 plus phi CS. Ano yan? AS prime FS prime times D minus D prime. So tension still yields. We have 0.9 times 0.85 FC prime of 30 times A. Okay, yung A nakasolve tayo ng A, right? Which is equal to, di pala tayo nakasolve ng A. From C, if we go back to C, di ba, A is equal to beta 1C, right? So A here, I will just insert here, is beta 1. Yung nasolve natin na beta 1, yun na to. Beta 1.836. 0.836 times 92.375. Okay, this is equal to 77.226. Okay, ang gulo na masyado. But this is 30, go back here, 30 times 77.226 times B of 300 times 350 minus 77.226 over 2. Okay. Then the second equation plus phi is zero point 0.9. Ang AS prime natin is 1231.504. And then FS prime. Yung FS prime, ito na ngayon. So, hindi na yung 345. So, this is 210.284 times D is 350 minus D prime of 60. All right, so we have phi mn is equal to 233.155 kilonewton meter. Okay? So, yan. So, ang first assumption natin, mag-yield yung dalawa. But it turns out na hindi nag-yield yung compression steel. So, new assumption. But yung most probably, yung second assumption natin, based na yun siya sa first assumption. Lumabas na calculation natin sa first assumption. So, kasi ang lumabas sa first assumption na ang compression still does not yield. So, at least may hint ka na second assumption mo, ang compression still does not yield. Okay? So, next example. Okay. Here, let's see kung anong lalabas naman, anong wrong assumption naman dito. So, a B natin is 320, D is 580, ang AS is 10.28 mm, ang D is minus 25 mm, Fy is 415 megapascal, Fc prime is 21 megapascal. So, we determine the moment capacity phi mn. Okay? So, first, we'll solve the AS muna. AS is 10 times pi times 28 squared over 4. This is equal to 6,157.521 mm squared. Then AS prime natin is 2 times pi times 25 squared over 4. This is 981.748 mm squared. Okay? Ang beta 1 natin is, yeah, this is 21 megapascal, so that is 0.85. So, first assumption, assume that all steel yields, meaning Fs is equal to Fs prime equal to Fy. So, kung mag-yield ang lahat ng steel, ang As prime natin is equal to As2. Then from there, we'll solve As1, which is equal to As minus As2. This is 6157.521 minus 981 point. Ang As2 natin, 981.748. This is equal to 5175.774 mm squared. Okay, so that's our AS1. So the first equation, CC is equal to T1, which is equal to 0.85 FC prime AB is equal to AS1 FY. This is 0.85 times FC prime 21. Ang A, so ito yung hanapin natin, A. Ang B is 320 equal to AS prime, AS1, which is 5175.774. Sorry, FY is 415. Okay, 415. Then we can solve A. Our A here is 376.041 mm. Then from A, solve natin yung C, which is A over beta 1, which is 376.041 over beta 1 of 0.85. Then we have 442.401 mm. Okay, then we'll check our assumption. Wait a moment, naghang yung tablet. Okay, so check assumption. Ano yun? Fs is equal to 600 times D minus C over C. This is 600 times D 580 minus C, which is equal to 442.401 over 442.401. This is equal to 186.617. Okay, so Fs does not yield. Okay, so Fs does not yield. Okay, so dyan pa lang wrong na yung assumption natin. But we'll continue with Fs prime. Okay, para at least dalawang assumption, meron tayong idea kung ano yung next assumption natin. Okay, so C minus D prime over C. This is equal to 600 times C 442.401 minus 80 over 442.401. This is equal to 491.501. So here Fs prime is greater than Fy. Therefore, Fs prime yields. Okay? So tama yung assumption natin ng Fs prime nag-yield, pero yung tension still does not yield. Okay? So assumption is, but mamali yung isa, mali na yun lahat. Okay? So assumptions are incorrect. Okay, so since this is incorrect, assume naman tayo ulit. Second run ng assumption. Sige, assume lang ng assume. Okay, so ang first assumption natin, so base pa rin dito. Ang lumabas is Fs yields. So Fs yields and Fs prime does not yield. Okay, so we'll go back to the basic equation. Okay, total tension is equal to total compression. Yeah, total tension is equal to CC, total compression, CC plus CS, compression ng concrete and compression ng steel. Ano yun? AS, FS is equal to 0.85 FC prime AB plus AS prime FS prime. Okay? So we have AS is 6157.521 equal to 0.85 of FC prime. Sorry. Um, tension still. Mali pala. Ang, eh, mali pala itong assumption natin, sorry. Dito, ang result natin is ang tension still does not yield. So let me correct this one. Ang assumption natin, mali pala. Ang compression still palang nag-yields. So Fs is, uh, read ko na lang, does not yield. While Fs prime yields. Okay? So, ang mangyari kasi dito, if I will, so this is AS FS. So, 6157.521. But ang FS natin, ito yung, sorry, ang tension steel natin does not yield. So, less than FS, less than FY. So, let's solve that. Ano yun? Pag tension, ano yun? Fs is equal to 600 times D minus C over C. So this is 600 times 580 minus C over C. This is equal to 0.85 of FC prime, 21. Ano yung B? Yung A. A is equal to beta 1 C, right? So, ang beta 1 natin is 0.85 C times D. D is 320. And then ito, AS prime, FS prime, lagay ko na lang sa baba. Plus, AS prime natin, meron tayo 981.748 times, ito, tingnan nyo yung FS prime yield. So, this is automatically 415. Right? So, dito naman yung C. And from there, we can solve C. So, be careful lang sa kung ano yung assume natin. Okay? So, always be careful with your assumption. So, C here is 364.840 mm. Right? Then we can solve A, which is beta 1C. This is 0.85 of 364.840. This is 310.114. Now, let's check again. Check muna tayo. Check. Fs. Dapat yung Fs natin is, ang assumption, Fs does not yield. So, dapat ang lalabas sa Fs dito is less than 345. Sorry, 415. Sorry, 415. So, this is 600 times D 580 minus 364.84 over 364.84. This is equal to 353.843. Right? So Fs here is less than Fy. So this is Correct assumption. Na yung tension steel natin is less than F1. About Fs prime, 600 times C minus D prime over C. 600 times C, 364.84 minus D prime of 80. Let me check. 80 ba yung given? Nabigay ko ba yung D prime? I think. Yeah, 80 yung D prime over C 364.84. So Fs prime here is 468.434. So ang compression steel is greater than Fy. So correct. Correct naman siya dito. So, ang assumption natin na dalawa, assumptions are correct. So, if our assumptions are correct, then we can move on. Yan. You can move on. Sorry. So, if assumption is correct, let's check muna yung Fs. Ang Fs natin is less than Fy. Okay? Kasi dalawa yun eh. Kung ang Fy is less than 1,000 yung formula ng fee ang gamitin natin. But kung greater than 1,000 yung Fy natin, yung fee is 0.9. Okay? Pag ito, sorry. Ang Fs natin is greater than 1,000.9. Ang Fs natin is less than Fy. This is, ang fee natin is 0.65. So, in between Fy and 1,000, yun na yung equation ng fee. Yung 0.65 plus something, minus, ayan, 0.9, ano ba yun? Yung fee. Okay. Anyway, so, our Fs is less than Fy. That means, ang fee natin is 0.65. Then, we can compute now phi mn. Phi mn is equal to phi times 0.85, sorry, fc prime ab times d minus a over 2 plus phi as prime fs prime d minus d prime. 0.65 times, ito yung phi, 0.85 times 21 times C. Na-solve natin yung C. Yeah. 36. Is it C? A pala. A is 310.114. 310.114 times B of 320 times 580 minus 310.114 over 2. Then plus 0.65 times 981.748 times 415 times 580 minus 80. This is 621.689 kilonewton meter. Okay? So, meron tayong dalawang case sa doble reinforce. Una is designing, given yung section, and then MU, hanapin yung AS. Second is investigation. Given yung AS at saka section, then we'll find MU. Pero sa investigation, maraming cases. Okay? First assumption, first case, boss still yields. Second case, ang compression nag-yield, ang tension wala. Ang third case, ang compression hindi nag-yield, ang tension nag-yield. Okay? Meron pa tayong fourth case. What will happen if boss still does not yield? Okay? So I leave that to you. That question, sir, what if um, kung dalawang steel hindi nag-yield? So anong mangyari sa flow ng calculation natin? I leave that one to you. Okay? So if you can see, yung mga calculation natin is mahaba yung calculations. And then you just have to memorize the formula. And again, you have to keep solving problems para even pa lang sa pagtingin nyo lang sa problem, you know the flow already. Okay? Although not exactly na ma-determine natin yung flow, but at least, kasi nga mag-assume tayo and then it could be mali yung assumption natin. But at least you know already the flow, yung general flow ng calculations. Okay? So, solve more problems and the more you solve problems, the more na mag-create yung questions. So again, I would like to remind na yung learning is hindi mo naman after you listen to my lecture, hindi pa doon yung totoong learning. Ang learning comes after you study. So after this, you study by your own. And then once you study, you come up with questions, no formulating questions. And then once that questions is answered, then doon na yung learning. Okay, doon ka naman kausapin, ganun pala. And then you learn. Okay? So I hope you will learn first before the examination. Kasi marami sa mga engineering students na matuto na after na sa exam. Okay? Yung iba, paulit-ulit na niloloko, hindi pa rin natututo. Anyway, thanks for listening.